guys, so I'm finally doing the full Denver update. I'm gonna have to try to hurry through this because Sophia's meds, and then she has a recert with her nursing company today, so so let's just kind of get into it. So her first appointment, if you watch the vlog, was it was with cardiology, and she had her echo, and she didn't sleep the whole night, and so she was pissed, and she was restless, and then she fell asleep during the echo at the end, and her echoes, let me just double check to make sure that I'm telling her. Okay, yes. So her echoes are turning into like her shortest appointments now. Not the echo itself, her cardiology appointments. Her echoes take like about an hour to do. So we have to get there pretty early for her echoes usually. They're usually in the mornings, and she doesn't like having echoes done anyway because they take forever. She has to stay still, and she has to be topless, and they're just like putting gel all over her, and it's not fun. So like 15 minutes in, she was trying to pull it off, and she was saying all done, and she hadn't slept the whole night. So if you had watched our Denver vlog, you had seen that she stayed up the whole night Sunday night, so she was pissed. And then she fell asleep at the end. But Dr. Chatfield, her doctor, came in and said everything looked the same. Everything looked good. Sophia is doing good. She had no concerns, and she was cleared for another year. And it's weird because like when Sophia was first born, and I mean even when I was pregnant, and that was the first thing we found out was her heart, it was like that was the biggest concern, was her heart. And now it's like I just saw a reflection in the camera, and I thought somebody was coming up to the door. Anyway. But now it's like the shortest appointment, and everything's all good, and anyway. So that was that appointment was the only appointment that day. And we were going to go to the zoo that day, but she hadn't slept, so we didn't. And that was the only day that it was nice, so we didn't end up going to the zoo at all. The next day was her pulmonologist, and we got a call Monday night to do a sleep study, which if you had been watching previous vlogs, you knew that I had been on a wait list forever because I had been trying to get her in for the sleep study since December, because for some reason her pulmonologist, who's a really good doctor and he's usually on top of things, just hadn't put the order in, and I hadn't been able to schedule it. And she was on the wait list, and they called and they were like, oh, we have an opening. And we got her scheduled for Tuesday night, and then Tuesday morning she woke up with 102 fever. And she was coughing, and she was not feeling good. So we went in to talk to her doctor, and he canceled the sleep study because he didn't think that the results would be accurate. They probably wouldn't because she was sick. So we waited all that time to get that sleep study scheduled, and we didn't get to do it. But he actually liked seeing her sick because he is her lung doctor, and seeing how she handles illness outside of the hospital, because the last time he saw her sick was in her first year, and in her first year when she was sick, she was really sick, and she obviously she survived, but she wasn't handling illness as well, and so he hasn't seen her sick since, because she, knock on wood, hasn't been flown to Children's at any other time she's been sick. So he liked being able to see her and how she's handling being ill. Right before we went to Denver, we found out that her Shake Fest, I think I put a clip of her in her shake vest when we got back from the ICU earlier this year. Her shake vest was denied by our private insurance, and so we were trying to get her pulmonologist and her special care to send a letter in because we figured a specialist would hold more weight with a insurance company, because her local pediatrician, the only reason why she gave for Sophia needing the shake vest was trisomy 18, which is understandably not a good enough reason for somebody to cover a shake vest, because that's a chromosomal abnormality. That doesn't make any sense. It would, like, Down syndrome is the reason why they need a shake vest. That doesn't make any sense. But, I really like our local pediatrician now, but she seems to kind of think that that's the be and end all for anything when it comes to Sophia, and it's not. But we found out that it was covered another way, and so her shake vest is covered. But so we were talking about that, and he prescribed Sophia a nasal steroid because she's been having a lot of problems with allergies. She's been having like huge boogers coming out, like adult size or bigger boogers coming out of her nose. And she's been having to use Claritin and Benadryl, and she uses Benadryl every day, but I was not using Claritin because I don't want to use too many medications, but I had to start using it again because she was getting so sneezy and nasally and all those boogers, and I didn't want her to get sick, and she had thrown up a couple of times because of all the snot, so he prescribed that while we were there. He still wants to do a sleep study, so we're trying to see if we can do a sleep study closer to home, because he didn't want to necessarily wait the year, but he understands why we wouldn't want to go back 6 months from now, because that's going to be November, and driving in the mountains in November is just not really something that we can do logically, because we don't know what the weather is going to be like. It changes like crazy. Like it's been snowing again in the mountains, and it's almost June. And the weather, it felt like it went from like spring to fall here again. So hopefully summer comes soon. I don't know. Okay, so Wednesday we went to go see her special care doctor, and her special care doctor is a pediatrician, but she specializes in kids with special needs, and usually we have blood work done and her kidney ultrasound, but since she was sick, we postponed that, and we're going to be doing that here. We have that scheduled for the week after, or next week. So I'll probably say that in another vlog. And then we were talking about her eyes, so we're probably going to be seeing an eye doctor next time we go up, because when she gets tired, one of her eyes kind of goes off. So we were talking about glasses. The doctor, without seeing her, had said that he thinks she might need eye surgery. We'll see how that goes, but I'm not completely convinced. We already figure she'll probably need glasses sometime in the future because we both have bad eyesight. So she also she grew like 3 or 4 inches from last year, and I think they weighed her wrong, because one day she was, and I think I said that in the Denver vlog, one day she was like 25 pounds, and like a day and a half later she was 27 pounds, and they wanted her 27 pounds by the time she was 5 at least. And I was like, oh. But I wanted to increase her feeds anyway, because it hadn't been increased in a year, and you have to have a doctor's note to increase the feeds, because the feeding supply company is what sends us her food, and her food is a pain to get. If you've watched any of the vlogs before, and I've talked about dealing with the feeding supply companies, it's such a pain to deal with them, because they, in this particular food too, apparently it costs more, and even though it's a prescription, they say that they have to get a supervisor's permission to send this food, even though it's a prescription written by a doctor, and it's a pain. So they upped her feeds for us, and we're going to be doing the blood work and everything. Okay, it just says rehab doctor by, I know it's a certain specialist. And then she was supposed to see PT when she was in there, like she did last year, but he didn't come in. I don't really know, but this was the one that we were most nervous about for this trip, because last year, if you had watched last year's Denver update, her orthopedist was really awful. Previously, he had been great, and he was really nice and everything, and then the last visit we had, before he even stepped into the room, he was asking how long she was going to live and all of this random things. Like, I mean, he was saying that he wasn't going to do surgery if she was only going to live to be 20, and they were saying that she might need surgery on her hips. And then he just kept asking us how long she was going to live. Like, first of all, I have no idea how long anybody's going to live, and second of all, her life expectancy was 2 weeks. So that is all I know. And so we fired him. He is no longer her orthopedist, because I'm not putting up with that anymore. We have had enough with doctors like that. I don't know how long Sophia has to live for people to start treating her like she's going to live, but we are not going to put up with it anymore. Which, this is going to be a sidetrack here. If you are, and I don't want to like address this all the time, but if you are watching our videos just to talk about how sad you think our child's life is, just stop, because I don't want to hear it. Our child's life is not sad. She has a great life, so just go away. I could say much meaner things, and I think that, you know, off camera I say much harsher things, and I would if we were speaking in person. And if you would not say these things to a parent in person, don't type them out. See, I keep thinking I'm seeing people. But there's been a couple of comments, but there was somebody on the last video that felt the need to say something, and especially if you know somebody who has the same thing as Sophia, I would think that you would realize that it is inappropriate to say those kinds of things to a parent. So, get a life. Okay. Anyway, so her new orthopedist, he was really great. There is a social worker that comes in the hospital, and she kind of goes over things that they might talk about when they come in for the CP clinic, and then she asked us what we wanted the doctor to know before he came in, and we said that we did not want him asking what her life expectancy is, because that's something that's unknown. It's unknown for anybody, and we do not want any decisions made solely based off of her trisomy 18 diagnosis, because that is not all of who Sophia is. We want her treated like Sophia, because she is a person, she is not a diagnosis. And when he came in, he was great. He showed us her x-rays, and I don't know if you can see her hips. He said anything over 30%, they start looking at maybe needing to repair or intervene on the bone structure. And she is at 35 and 37. And so that's actually improved from last year and improved from 6 months before that. So they say that it doesn't improve, but she has improved. And he said that he tends to be more conservative when it comes to surgery, and he likes to wait until kids are over 6 years old, because their bones haven't formed in the proper way until they're over 6. And he feels that kids will just need surgery again if you do it before they're 6, unless she were to get over like 50 to 60%, and then it would force his hand into doing surgery before she turns, or before she's over 6 years old. And we're fine with that. That's not a problem. We just don't want anything to be based off of her chromosomes. That's discrimination, and it's not okay. We're okay with waiting. We were not wanting to push her into some sort of surgery if she doesn't need it right now. We've never been those kinds of people, but we need a reason why you're not doing surgery, and it's not going to be the number of chromosomes in her body. We also talked about a lot of other things, maybe getting her, she's going to be getting her own gait trainer, because the gait trainer we have is borrowed from the therapy center, which they're fine with letting us use for as long as we need, but it would be good for Sophia to have her own gait trainer, so we're going to be getting that soon. And maybe doing a wheelchair for her sometime in the future, which that's a little hard to talk about because we're not going to stop working on walking, but even when she does start walking, she'll probably need one when she gets tired and stuff, which is, it's not something that you normally think about like as a parent and stuff. So that was kind of a lot of information. And then they were talking about like modifying walls and doing like modifying the, like doing ramps and stuff, and modifying bathrooms. And I mean, it's like in the future kind of stuff. So we were at the CP clinic. We were talking about all of the equipment and stuff. Sophia was telling everybody in every appointment that she was 4.5. But she was still like not feeling good. So she was like not having it, but she was happy because the orthopedist was, he told her that she liked her shoes. So they were kind of friends after that. But that appointment went pretty well. Then we went to see her neurologist, and I found out because I thought that her neurologist comes to, because Denver is about 5.5 hours from where we live, and her neurologist comes about an hour away, like every few months. And so I try to get in there every 6 months because she wants to see us every 6 months, but I don't want to have us going up to Denver for one appointment. So, and it's not like there's any testing, we just kind of go to see her. So it's not like she does like an EEG or anything else. So she comes, and I found out that I thought we were on a waiting list to see her, and like it's like 2 towns over. And she told us that that office actually closed, and it closed abruptly, and there was some big drama. And I had called like 2 or 3 times, and I never heard back. So I assumed that I was on the wait list, and I just didn't get a call back, because she is a doctor that her schedule fills up fast, and she's hard to get into. And I just assumed that I was on the wait list, and she was just filled up like every time I call. But I guess the office that they had been in closed, and those people were like mad, and they weren't calling people back and never told them that there was another number to call for the wait list. So I was never on the wait list in the first place. So that was kind of annoying, because I was like, because I have to, every time she needs a refill and she's out of refills, I have to tell the nurse, like, we're on the wait list to get in for an appointment, or we have an appointment. And I've been telling them, like, we're on the wait list. I just haven't heard back, and we haven't been on the wait list at all. So that was kind of irritating. But her neurologist said that she looked good and everything, and Sophia was still sick. But she talked a little bit, and Sophia wasn't like super into talking to people that day, but she was the doctor that Sophia had already talked to the previous year. And she was the only one that she would answer questions to, which was good, because like most of the doctors she won't talk to. And it's because doctors have said mean things about her in the past. Not these particular doctors, but doctors in general. So she just doesn't interact with them. And it doesn't help our case, because they think we're crazy. But she actually answered her questions, and so last year her doctor was putting in notes saying like, Sophia understands what you're saying, so you need to watch what you're saying around her, which is helpful. And they have like yard sales in our neighborhood all the time, and there's always people driving through, but her research is supposed to be happening soon, so I'm like, that would be weird for somebody to walk up to the door and see me just talking to a camera. Anyway, so those were the appointments for the day, or for the week, and we went to the Children's Museum. What day did we go? We went Tuesday or Wednesday, and that was fun. Sophia got to see, she likes to see the rocks, and she got to see the space exhibit and the dinosaurs. We finally got to see the dinosaurs because we couldn't find the elevators, and then the elevators were closed one time we went. So we haven't been able to see the dinosaurs like ever. And then we didn't get to do like a ton of stuff that we usually do because the weather was really bad and Sophia wasn't feeling good, but it was a good trip and we had good visits with the doctors, so that's what's important. But she will be getting her kidney ultrasound and her blood work done, which she's not going to be happy about, next Friday, if that's the right day. And I'll probably do an update and a vlog about it. And then I think the next video I'm probably going to do a tour for the summer decor, because this is like the most neutral that the decor gets. And then the retro days, or the retro night, is coming up at the drive-in, so we're going to be like doing our dress up day and stuff at the drive-in. And then so we have a bunch of stuff coming up. Hopefully it actually feels like summer soon. But I think, let me just double check. I think that's it. I think we're pretty much, they actually put that. Maybe they just put that for everybody that goes to CP clinic, but I really hope that's not in her records. They put what was addressed, cerebral palsy. Sophia does not have cerebral palsy. Anyway, but I think that was the full update. Nothing too exciting, which is probably good. But if you guys want to see more of Sophia, but she is asleep, like this video and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!